Hi guys, it's going to be a pretty tricky week this week. Overnight we've got, well, stagflation. You got manufacturing contraction, but you got prices rising, which is inflationary. So that's a bit of a mixed bag out of the US overnight, and we can see bonds. Oh, there's also JP Morgan took over that embattled bank FBC, which the market initially, if you look at gold, did not like, and as the systematic risk of how many more of these are going to happen, and JP Morgan bailed out one, but that's may not be the end of the scenario. So cash open in the US market took off, but then failed dismally. At the end of the day, it's pretty much unchanged, but that's a big turnaround, and that could continue on. And we're seeing obviously the smart money and bonds starting to lock in that protection. VIX, the fear indicator, also starting to realise what's happening and getting a bit concerned. But gold couldn't hang on to that 2000. It was a bit of a big move there, and so there might have been maybe a profit-taking order or something like that in there. A bit hard to tell. Then we come to today. We've got the RBA, and I've got real concerns about Australia. They're kowtowing to the media and the fear that the mortgage market's going to crash and housing's going to crash, and that's going to send us into a recession. Well, it's what we need. All these baby boomers sitting on all these properties, and investors having 10, 15 investment properties is a little over the top. My concern though is based on this graph here. You've got New Zealand, our little neighbours, interest rates at 5.25. The US are currently at 5. They'll be going up to 5.25 this week as well. You've got Canada and the UK over 4%. You've got Europe currently at 3.5, but this week as well, they'll also be going up to 3.75. So Australia will be languishing at 3.6% when globally interest rates are going. So you've got the Fed going up, you've got the ECB going up, and Canada and New Zealand are well ahead of us already. And that interest rate differential is going to hurt our economy, and it's going to make obviously prices more expensive for import products. So that's also inflationary, right? Whereas raising interest rates might have hurt the people who own mortgages, and therefore by default renters. You've got the import market that's also going to be having a price rise, and things are going to get far more expensive for offshore products, which I guess hopefully would lead to an expansion of our onshore manufacturing base, which would be great. Instead of sending all our raw materials offshore, we should be keeping them onshore and bringing in more population to drive manufacturing and like steel works and car manufacturing, and everything that we import now that we used to make here is now all exported. And we sell our raw materials at bargain basement prices. We should be keeping them here and increasing our manufacturing base and become a real powerhouse rather than just selling it for peanuts. Anyway, rant over. Price, I think, moving ahead is going to be very tricky. It's not going to be easy this week when you've got not only just the news today, but we've got the RBA, you've got Kiwi unemployment, the Fed with their press conference, ECB, and then non-farm payrolls. So a very tricky week ahead. And holding a long-term position is going to be hard or a bit nerve-wracking, but You can see the yen is getting weaker as the BOJ last on Friday are looking for, and that should continue to play out. Cable, US dollar got found a bid on the back of that sort of safety protection risk off environment, and on the back of that we saw the pound off a little bit, euro off a little bit, excuse me, and Aussie dollar also off. Tagged this low nicely. It's now sort of stuck in between this resistance zone or support resistance zone. But yeah, as I wrote in the blog this week, I expect the market to be down around here is where I would expect it, around the 65 level, especially if the RBA don't do anything today, and they're not likely to. So fun and games, tough week ahead, and I'll try and help us tiptoe through it on as we go along.